welcome fellow digital soldiers to True Reporting. It is the 10th of October, and on today's podcast, we will continue with our Conspiracy Saturday Showcase. And on today's episode, we could see this coming from Julian's Rum. He's talking about comms, communications from Nancy Pelosi. We've been seeing a lot of those lately. We'll be touching base on both of those. In a quiver equals indoor air quality. Why did the White House strip CDC control of C-19 data? Was that one of their quivers? And the second one was this, coming at us from 17 Commentary. I noticed this thread right when it came out, and it has blown up in numbers. Eyes wide open, oranges, huge communications. And this is talking about her masks. Give me a break. I mean, this is straight communication. We'll get into that here in a little while. And finally, guys, coming at us from @Coraline Elise, she will be talking and breaking down A Brave New World. What could this possibly mean, coming at us from 17 posts? So, guys, we have a lot to cover. It's always great to have these special Saturday Conspiracy Showcase shows. That's a tongue twister, but it's always fun to do it, and I love to bring it to you. So, everybody, always know that it is always an honor for me to be on the front lines with each and every one of you, day in and day out. Because in the end, my friends, where we go one, we go all. Hey guys, I wanted to tell you about my sponsor, Noble Gold, and how they can help you out with your IRAs. My friends, we are less than a month away from the election, and it's time to take a step back. The political uncertainty could be devastating for your retirement fund if it is not handled properly. I think you'd agree. Whatever the outcome, things are going to be rough for a while, and we've been saying that for a long time. A gold IRA uses the value of precious metals to keep you out of trouble. The team at Noble Gold knows how to do this, and they've done it for thousands of people before you. And if you need an extra reason to jump on this, Noble Gold is gifting a 10-ounce solid gold American Eagle proof coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k plan rollover going through October, guys. So grab the phone and give them a call at 877-646-5347. Again, my friends, that is 877-646-5347. I can promise you they take care of True Reporting, and they'll take care of you and your IRA and your retirement plan. So always go with Noble Gold. You won't regret it, my friends, and I really hope you enjoy today's podcast. All right, guys, it's good to have you aboard. Before we get into today's show, would you please go ahead and subscribe to my backup channel, True Reporting 2.0. I would greatly appreciate it. We're on the verge of hitting 20,000 subscribers. So if anything happens to this main channel, we have a backup channel to go to. Also, guys, follow me on Twitter at True Reporting. Follow me on Parler at True Reporting 1985. And always remember to leave a like. The more likes that this video receives, the more times it is recommended to other viewers, thus more eyes on the truth. And with that being said, my friends, let's go ahead and hop into today's podcast. This is True Reporting. So, coming at us from Julian's Rum, one of the best. He says, holy crap, guys, in a quiver equals indoor air quality. Why did the White House strip CDC control of C-19 data? So, we see here this week, we have our options. We have arrows in our quiver that I'm not about to discuss right now, Speaker Pelosi tells at George Stephanopoulos. When pressed on what Democrats would do if President Trump and Republicans pushed a SCOTUS nomination ahead of the November 3rd election, indoor air quality. In a quiver, he says, which is in the P.O. Box, September 25th, coming at us from 17/2020, September 25th. Never bring an arrow in a quiver to an LOSBR missile fight. Now, this has been broken down furthermore, but remember, within a quiver, there are many an arrow, many an ammunition that they will be firing at the White Hats. So, indoor air quality, IAQ refers to the air quality within around buildings and structures, especially as it relates to the health and comfort of building occupants. Again, nearly 200,000 Americans have died. Almost 7 million Americans have been affected. The sudden removal of the CDC guidelines on airborne CV spread is the latest sign of the Trump administration's broken response to this crisis, which continues to cost Americans lives. Then we can see here mathematical probability of C-19 event as solution to above Perfectly timed. Window of opportunity. Why did the White House strip CDC control of C19 data bigger than you can imagine? Because they needed to know the information on it. They needed to know what they were dealing with, and I'm sure they are in complete control. Now, window of opportunity. Feet away. You have to stand more than 6 feet away. These transmissions occurred within enclosed spaces that had inadequate ventilations. Sometimes the infected person was breathing heavily, for example, while singing or exercising. Now, we all know within that press room there may not be the best ventilation systems. We move down a little further. Airborne. At long last, the CDC just finally acknowledges that people can be infected with CV-19 through aerosol airborne transmissions, especially indoors within inadequate ventilation. This is huge and has been long delayed, but glad it's now CDC official. I think about how in the kill box they will try to weaponize this data. No government hearings, no in-person voting, delay, chaos. Think about how POTUS has been preempting this narrative. We can see here. The presidential SUV is not only bulletproof, but hermetically sealed against chemical attack. The risk of CV-19 transmission inside is as high as it gets outside of medical procedures. The irresponsibility is astounding. My thoughts are with the Secret Service forced to play. Very, very disconcerting. Just the lack of empathy that he has for the president, right? I will be leaving the great Walter Reed Medical Center today at 6:30 p.m. Feeling really good. Don't be afraid of CV. Don't let it dominate your life. We have developed under the Trump administration some really great drugs and knowledge. Knowledge? Remember what we talked about a second ago. I feel better than I did 20 years ago. It is reported that the media is upset because I got into a secure vehicle to say thank you to many fans and supporters who were standing outside of the hospital for many hours and even days to pay the respect to their president. If I didn't do it, media would say I was rude. Remember, the media was upset because I was in a secure vehicle. Now, this guy up here is talking about the risk of COVID CV-19 transmission inside as high as it gets of a medical procedure because of the hermetically sealed bulletproof SUV that the president rides in just in case of a chemical attack. He says it's outstandingly irresponsible due to the safety of the Secret Service. All right, so we'll continue to break this down. Perhaps what's more important is that they wanted to accomplish with the CDC bullcrap. Literally nowhere indoors is safe. So they can say things like this. And guys, this has just happened in Australia, that they're actually saying that you have to stay indoors now. That is what I believe the Prime Minister is saying. So picking back up on that quote, literally nowhere indoors is safe. Now, Andrew McCabe will not appear at a Senate hearing, citing the CV concerns. Do you see the game that they're playing? Now, in return, Pepe Lives Matter responds and says, so the deep state really might have tried to infect white hats, and that was one of their arrows? I think POTUS allowed himself to be infected. I will gladly take all of those in, quote, slings and arrows for you. Think of quivers, right? All of the communications directly back and forth between black hats and white hats. Friends and patriots, hold your head up high. POTUS was not harmed in any way today other than on paper history books. Sometimes you must sacrifice yourself for the greater good. I will gladly take all the slings and arrows for you. POTUS. But even that can be undone. Never bring an arrow in a quiver to an LOSBR missile fight 17. Pepe's Lives Matter goes on to respond again and said, if the deep state tried to infect them, we know that, in quote, 17 knew beforehand about it because he hinted at it himself. That would mean they either allowed themselves to get infected or just disarmed the threat and acted like, in quote, their plan was still in effect. If this is true, he goes on to say, then Trump just did a hell of a chess move by disarming a major strategy of the deep state's right at seemingly the last second. If so, I have a feeling they are feeling absolutely outplayed right now. 17D chess. So, the deep state really might have tried to infect the white hats, and that was one of their arrows. Remember, many arrows within a quiver. So, we go on to see this. This came out yesterday, and it has gone almost viral with 4.1 thousand likes On a smaller account, 17 commentary. Eyes wide open. Oranges, huge communications. As we can see here from Nancy Pelosi's mask, the orange jumpsuit. I wish it was a jumpsuit, but whatever these are called, power suits, whatever the thick-ankled wears. We start with the movie The Godfather. What's with all the oranges? As you can see here, oranges appear whenever death is in the air. When the Godfather gets shot in the street, he's buying oranges, which scatter on the ground as he falls. When Vito dies at the very end, it's while peeling an orange and putting the rind in his mouth to make funny faces at his grandson. The Godfather, dangerous oranges. If you see an orange, you are about to die. Mad Men, another show, Mad Men. Oranges bear the same symbolism. What's the significance of Roger Sterling's juggling of oranges in Mad Men? 13 days communications, their MO. 8 plus 13 equals 21. Coincidence? Combine this with the Tinkertricity decode of them sending a signal 13 days in advance of an FF. You know what that means. October 8th plus 13 takes us to October 21st. Now, Unity Day, Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. Wear and share orange to show that we are together against bullying and united for kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. Make it orange and make it end. What are your true colors when it comes to showing you believe that all youth should be safe from bullying? Remember, they always call the president a bully, right? Orange. Think about what happens in these movies with oranges. Think about when 17 talks about the movie The Godfather, 1, 2, and 3. Is this clicking to you yet? They're trying to take him out, my friends. Nancy Pelosi then has the audacity to throw this out there, trying to remove the president by the 25th Amendment. Take a listen.
We hear people saying I'm young and I'm a perfect specimen instead of addressing the fact that 50,000 people were infected, reported to be infected yesterday. Nearly 1,000 people died. What are we talking about here? Tomorrow, by the way,
take a listen.
Come here tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the 25th Amendment, but not to take attention away from the subject we have now.
Again, guys, we've talked about this before. The lapel on a shirt, not the American flag. It's some staff. I believe it has something to do with Satanism or occultism. I mean, these people are truly evil. Then, when we come back to the threat of the 25th Amendment, we see all of these 17 posts. Check this out, starting with this. This was decoded the other day, Tuesday, I believe, coming at us. And remember, they told us this was a helicopter bigger than the 25th Amendment to remove, an attempt to remove. This is what it is. Guys, they are going to try to take him out physically. Nothing can stop what is coming. They're going to release and deploy all assets to get him out of office, even if it means taking him out by his life. Do you remember when they told you this was a helicopter? Remember the cover story for this? Helicopter? Coincidence. Referencing Air Force One California route to North Korea. The depth of this is very serious. Tomorrow, just like I said before, bigger than the 25th Amendment, attempt to remove. By the way, tomorrow, come here tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the 25th Amendment. Remember the oranges. Remember, this is almost a direct delta from October 7th to October 8th. Guys, this is massive, and my friends, I need you to know this, and I posted it on Twitter, that all assets are deployed. I don't want to say what I'm thinking because I don't want to manifest anything. But if, in quote, they in the kill box harm our beloved president, there will be a revolt the likes no one in history has ever seen before. But let's be honest, the powers that be will not let it happen. Guys, we are in a full-blown war. We're less than 25 days away from a new election. This is the dying breaths. That they're in the death throes, the deep state is, in these last few weeks, and they will do anything and everything to keep their power. Remember, guys, that these posts came out 2 days ago. Was the 25th Amendment arrow in the quiver planned? This is from post 4836. How long ago? Many moons ago, I can promise you that. Was it expected that the President of the United States would be in a critical health state, referencing C19. 17 knew about it. Recovery unexpected. Impossible to unwind. Next, mentally incapacitated. C19 language. People are dying in the kill box. Safety and security to the well-being. Combat tactics, Mr. Ryan. Remember Paul Ryan? Why did he leave? Forced out. Remember that? That post, forced out question mark? Blackmail. They knew that he was a black hat. They knew that he was part of their team, probably a very high up member, and he was probably sneaking out information from the White House every single day, and that's the reason they got rid of him. Now, this post, again, 4837. We have our options. We have our arrows in our quiver that I'm not about to discuss right now. But the fact is, we have a big challenge in our country. Did you notice the missile within the drop, 25th Amendment 17? They tried to take him out multiple times. We've only seen a handful of times, but I can promise you, my friends, these attempts to take the president's life are far more greater than we could ever imagine. So guys, switching gears and moving into a more positive discussion to round off the podcast. Coming at us from @Coraline Elise, please follow her @AwakeAF. A brave new world. What could this possibly mean? Surely it's more than just exposing evil and corruption. Have you taken the time to consider what is meant by brave and new? Have you thought about after this fight is all over, what's next? Guys, we are going to show you a new world. This is from post 2450 from November 7th, 2018. Those who are blind will soon see the light. A beautiful, brave new world lies ahead. We take this journey together, one step at a time. Where we go one, we go all. Years into this journey, I've realized the depth of, and quote, multiple meanings exist, which 17 has told us many a time, as it comes to drops, the plan, and the large worldwide picture. Ever hear about Plato's allegory of the cave? If not, this few-minute video will fill you in, and I will leave this video in the description box below. Cave equals matrix. These monetary bills depicting 9/11 are just another example of how the, in quote, puppet masters not only pull the strings, but use those strings to weave a reality that we just accept. Your mind is that cave. It's time to wake up. After you do, post 3. We have been the people in this cave for many a years. They have been pulling the strings. What happens when the movie ends? I don't think very many will grasp what is in store. Why did POTUS declassify Tesla papers? What did Tesla know? If you wish to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have a key to the universe. Nikola Tesla. What is he talking about? PHI .618033399? Here we go. Right here. 3, 6, and 9. What does this unlock, my friends? The keys to the universe. Everything God created has these things. You understand these 3 things and know how to harness the energy, frequency, and vibrations. What we can create and do are absolutely limitless. Who puts limits on us? They do. I personally believe our minds are the keystone. If we can know the secrets of how God intended our minds to work and can tap into that, where we go one, we go all has multiple meanings. It's about collective consciousness. We have literally been practicing that. But when we apply that same where we go one, we go all collective consciousness on good things in our future, love, light, and using those keys, I see a brave new world ahead. And as I dug into a brave new world with fresh eyes, I noticed some things. In the book, there were 5 classes of people in society. There were 5 pillars that kept the world moving. After researching Tesla, consciousness, and more, the names of 5 pillars of society caught my eye. The world state is the primary setting of the Aldous Huxley's 1932 novel, A Brave New World. In the novel, the world state is a unified government, which administers the entire planet, with a few isolated exceptions. The motto of the world state is community, identity, and stability. The citizens of the world state constitute an e-social consumer society whose individuals are produced in hatcheries by applications of Boskanovskis. and other techniques to the hatchery line to produce the 5 classes of castes named after the letters Greek alphabet: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and epsilon. Society is controlled by alphas and their subordinates, betas. Below them, in descending order of the intellectual and physical capacity, are gammas, deltas, and epsilons. Those are the names for the Greek letters of the alphabet, but they just so happen to be the names for brain waves. But then, I thought epsilon isn't listed, so it cannot be related to brain waves. Or was I wrong? There are five different types of brain waves, ranging from low to high frequency. Delta brain waves are the slowest brain waves. They are generated in deep meditation and dreamless sleep. Brain waves: delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma. Frequency. Do you see the ties, my friends? I decided to type in epsilon brainwaves, and lo and behold, they do exist. They are a recent discovery. But what's more intriguing about these brainwaves is that on the surface, they look like nothing special, just like epsilons in the book. In Brave New World, epsilons were the bottom of society, the enslaved. Sound familiar? Just like us, plebs, slaves, right? So the epsilon's brainwaves read as flat. But when scientists zoom in on epsilon's brainwaves, there's a second newly discovered wave that rides within it, my friends: lambda. Lambda waves ride in epsilon waves just like epsilon waves ride in lambda waves. Mirror, remember? Think mirror. Just look at what scientists say about what is capable in these brainwave states. I will put the full link at the end. Upon taking a closer look at the extremely slow epsilon brainwave patterns, researchers have discovered super fast hyper gamma lambda brainwaves riding within and vice versa. This helps explain why the same consciousness experiences occur with widely different brainwave types. Although these brainwave states oscillate at vastly different speeds, experiences within them are found to have exactly the same consciousness states. Many different groups of independent EEG researchers have found these states to be the same, suggesting a circular link between these two extremes of brainwave activities. Knowing about the 5 main brainwave states can help us better understand our awareness types and which is best for our current goals. Now scientists are beginning to discover what monks have experienced for many years: rarely seen brainwave states associated with ecstatic states of consciousness, lambda and epsilon brainwave states, lambda and epsilon brainwave states. Now, considering the above regarding suspended animation, it would seem that those accessing these states through meditation and practices of higher consciousness are seemingly walking the line between life and death, almost. And again, I reference back to what I said earlier about not being able to fully explain what happens in these states, which makes absolute sense to me because it is a level of consciousness that is essentially indescribable and perhaps immeasurable by science. Guys, this is absolutely astonishing. More than with this insight. The so-called epsilon state is associated with suspended animation, a state where you are alive but with no obvious signs, so no perceivable heartbeat, respiration, or pulse. It is said that some yogis and meditation masters are able to achieve this state. So I find it extremely interesting that the lambda waves and the epsilon waves, despite being at opposite ends of the spectrums, seem to have interconnectivity whereby they support each other. Now, considering the above regarding suspended animation, it would seem that those accessing these states through meditation and practicing of higher consciousness, lambda, therefore, is associated with a much higher level of consciousness, beyond simply deep meditation or spiritual consciousness. It is more a state of complete oneness and wholeness. The benefits of this: the lambda state seems to be an almost a secretive one that is somewhat shrouded in mystery, and that would make sense considering it is incidentally tied to Tibetan meditation tradition. Similarly, you may have heard of a man known as the Iceman, who is able to control his core body temperature and withstand freezing temperatures. It is thought that he is able to tap into the lambda waves and is also able to tap into the brain state for a prolonged period of time. Wim Hof, the Iceman, like the Himalayan Tibetan monks, he is able to meditate at extremely low temperatures. Look at this guy down here, guys. And remember back in the day when the monks would light themselves on fire without even flinching? They were also, I guarantee you, within this meditative state. As mentioned in the introduction, lambda waves are closely related to epsilon waves. Interestingly, if you zoom in far enough, you would see that embedded within the slow epsilon wave is very fast lambda waves. The epsilon wave is essentially riding on the lambda wave. Guys, why do they keep us held down? Why do they lull us to sleep? Why do they keep us slaves? Because we have this epsilon wave within us. But also attached to that is the lambda wave. This is the wave, that brain wave, that keeps us low, the epsilon wave. But if we can tap in to that lambda wave, probably we would be able to have such a connection with everyone else, truly a collective consciousness, we would be unstoppable. This is the reason that they poison our water, our food, our air, vaccines, so on and so forth. This is why they do that, guys, because together we are strong, divided we are weak. When we are lulled to sleep by television and sports and bad food and just depression and anxiety, being on pills and just being in really bad health, this keeps that lambda wave from being activated. I can promise you that they've known about this, they've been taught this, and now they use it, they've weaponized it against us. Now think if we could fully know how to use our minds the way that God made us. It makes sense. Since we are just an extension of our Creator, what kind of tech, cures, and world could we, the collective consciousness, where we go one, create with having the keys? And I will go on to say this because this is Conspiracy Saturday. This seems so far more advanced than what the human mind could actually think of, the weaponization of brainwaves. I think that this is alien technology. I believe that this world, that this planet, this realm has 100% been taken over by evil aliens. I know that sounds crazy to you, but again, this is Conspiracy Saturday. I believe we've already talked about reptilians. We've talked about evil entities. We do know that evil lives. We all know that good lives. What are the odds that evil, highly advanced entities have enslaved humanity, and this is the way that they have done it? First, they dumb us down by all of the things that I mentioned earlier. The air, the food, the water, the technology. It's very advanced. And then they dull down that lambda wave so that we are not able to connect to it, thus only living with the epsilon wave flowing through our brain. And it is extremely hard for us to activate it. That seems highly advanced to me. She goes on to say, if we're able to connect in with this collective consciousness, imagine what we could create having these keys. Would you consider that a brave new world? I would. Like I've stated, the 17 operation is an awakening exercise. The Great Awakening is what comes after. Eyes on the prize. One more interesting thing. Did you know that we ran out of the names for storms in 2020? We have been forced to turn to the Greek alphabet brainwave names. We've already had the alpha and beta. No coincidences. Multiple meanings exist, my friends. Alpha, beta, Greek names 2020. Now we're into these. You can see the correlation. Meteorologists forced to break out of the Greek alphabet Friday to name Atlantic storms for only the second time ever after 2020 hurricane season blew through their usual list, ending on Tropical Storm Wilfred. The list consists of 21 male and female names that alternate in alphabetical order and change every year. The WMO chooses names that are easily recognizable within the region where several languages are spoken, so no name starting with X, Y, or Z are ever chosen. In the unusual event that the list is used up, the WMO identifies storms by the letter of the Greek alphabet, alpha, beta, gamma, delta, as has been this case this year, which has seen an unusual active hurricane season. Get out the Greek alphabet for the rest of 2020, the NHC said in an update on Wilfred. Meteorologist MJ Vintrist of the weather company tweeted that, in quote, "This is the second time in history we'll be using the Greek alphabet." The second time in history, my friends. The first time he added was in 2005, when Hurricanes Katrina and Wilma devastated Louisiana, Florida, respectively. Those names, as well as Maria, Irma, and Harvey, have been retired permanently from the WMO list due to the devastation they caused. She goes on to say, "Just a thread of the things I've come across and a reminder to get out of the cave, which is our mind. Think larger, worldwide, universal, the Great Awakening." My friends, this was so well put together. Make sure you follow at Coraline Elise. Make sure you follow Julian Drum. They put together amazing information day in and day out. So always show them respect and give them a follow. My friends, if you found this informative and you enjoyed it, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter at TRUreporting, and always remember to leave a like. Guys, always know it is an honor for me to be on the front lines with you each and every day, because in the end, where we go one, we go all. Guys, if you found what you just watched informative and you enjoyed it, then please subscribe to the True Reporting family today. There are many ways to support this channel, like our Patreon link, our PayPal link, and our TrueReporting.us official website link in the description box below. Join the True Reporting family today and be a part of history, because where we go one, we go all.